What are you gonna do with those pies, boys? Welcome to the Hey Guys podcast. I'm Rob, that's Liam, and for the last part of our Hugtober season, we're diving face first into a cotton candy cocoon of madness with killer clowns from outer space. Yes, I said cotton candy and not candy floss. I apologize. It's 1988, and in the town of Crescent Cove, which, let's be honest, already has a suspiciously high tolerance for circus aesthetics, things go full honk horror when alien clowns descend in a Technicolor big top spaceship. Our lead hero, who goes by the name Mike Tobacco, yes, seriously, which sounds like a rejected G.I. Joe character, but somehow works in its neon nightmare. Well, then there's Officer Mooney, a man so committed to being a douchebag, he makes the clowns look like public servants. So come on, grab your popcorn, but maybe skip the candy floss, and join us as we talk balloon animals, shadow puppets, and why Crescent Cove might have deserved this invasion. Now, when I first picked for the Hugtober, I picked The Mouth of Madness, and to me, that was a complete Liam film that Liam had never seen. Now, I'm right in saying that you haven't seen this film again, Liam. You haven't seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
No,
But
I
I
have
don't.
seen it. Sorry.
You have seen it.
No,
Oh,
yeah, but
apologies.
no, but I
Okay.
can't. I couldn't. No, I couldn't remember anything about it. I watched it when I was really young. I wasn't crazy about it, and other than the fact that it had clowns in it, I just couldn't remember anything about it. So it
Yeah.
was almost like watching it for the first time.
But I don't think this is a Liam film as Mouth of Madness was a Liam
No,
film.
no. Well. The two major differences are Mouth of Madness is a really good movie. This is not a really good movie. Now,
So this is a Rob film.
yeah, no. The thing is, I wanted to like it because, like, let's be clear, like, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is one of the all-time great movie titles. It's a great
Yeah.
concept. I quite like hokey 80s B-movie horror. That era in particular, there was like a big emphasis on like 50s throwbacks. You think of stuff like, obviously, there was like one end of the spectrum, you had stuff like The Fly, where they were taking those 50s B-movies and turning them into like really nightmarish stuff for the 80s. But then other stuff like, but obviously, I wasn't expecting that from this. What I was hoping for, rather naively, was say The Blob. I think The Blob is the high watermark of
Yeah.
taking a 50s B movie and then setting it in the 80s. And it still has that 50s vibe, but obviously they've updated it. And that movie, another one of the movies I'd never watched until you picked it for the podcast, I thought was borderline a masterpiece. I fucking adore that film. This movie is not The Blob.
But no, I totally agree. And I wrote it down. I got really excited then because you brought that up. And of course you did, because we kind of think the same every now and then. I wrote it down what was in the water in 1988 when people were deciding to do, because the Blob was 1988 and it's pretty much the
Yep,
same
yep.
thing. A a weird thing happens to a small town, a weird alien thing, alien in
Mm-hmm.
quotes, because obviously it turns out that the Blob was man-made in
Mm-hmm.
1988. But a weird alien thing comes to town and starts killing half the town, and nobody believes the the two kids who tell them everything's going wrong.
Yeah, it's a classic 50s B movie trope. And I think just around that era, there was a big kind of like nostalgia push for stuff like that. You think of things like Tales from the Crypt as well.
Yeah.
All those and Creepshow. These were all based on comics from the 50s. And a big part of that is you'll see it with any generation. You suddenly have these directors who grew up with that stuff from the 50s. And like, oh, well, I want to make my version of that. We've just come through with it with the 80s. All of a sudden, you had all these people who were our age, grew up in the 80s and the early 90s, and suddenly they wanted to make movies about that time. It was exactly the same thing. And for a while there, like 50s style horror was really popular. And let's be clear, around this time, high concept horror was super popular. It was stuff like the Ghoulies, the Leprechaun, Critter, Reanimator, The Fly,
Yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors, Return of the Living Dead, American Werewolf in London, They Live, The Thing, From Beyond, Night of the Creeps, The Stuff, Demons. These are all largely very strange movies, and the quality ranges wildly, to say the least. Now, I was kind of looking forward to this more than I was expecting because of the reviews.
Yeah.
We mentioned on
Yeah.
the previous podcast, this has a surprisingly high Rotten Tomato score based on, let's be clear, modern reviews of this film, where a lot of people seem to have a soft touch for it. I didn't think it's great. I just didn't. It's just not particularly well made, which you can kind of get away with.
Yeah, but you got
Sorry,
to
go for it.
admit though. So no, sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
I do kind of agree that, like in regards to well made, there are pacing issues, there are plot issues, blah blah blah,
Mhm.
yada yada yada. But aside from what will probably be used as a Rob take, I do like the clowns. and
Yeah, yeah.
I really enjoy the practical effects. Now,
Mhm.
one of the issues that I had with this film, there are a few, but one of them was the clownish way or the circusy way they kill somebody. But
Yeah.
then, oh, okay, that's fun. Oh, it's fun because it happened again. Oh, popcorn becomes a monster. Then it just becomes a bit too much. Oh, okay, there's another fucking way you've killed him via being a clown, and another way, and another, oh, now you've melted this guy with fucking pies and you put a chair. It was like it started to become a bit of
Well,
a
make
bit
no
too
mistake.
much.
Yeah, half of
Yeah.
this movie is a clown-based murder montage. For a
Mm.
long period of this film, there's really no plot whatsoever. It's just the clowns killing people in slightly imaginative, as you put it, circusy ways. And I don't necessarily have an issue with that. My biggest issue with this film, and like I said, I didn't hate it. It was absolutely fine. I think I was just more disappointed because what I wanted it to be was A, you've got all these kind of clown circus based murders. They were never or rarely as imaginative as I hoped. And two, and I think this is maybe the most egregious element of the film, is the fact that it's never particularly scary, or more specifically, never all that gory, which is
Yeah.
a disappointment. I
Yeah.
wanted it to be scarier and gorier at one end. And then when they went, but it's still clowns from outer space, sure. I wanted it to be more imaginative. Like, clowns are inherently scary. Like, if they kind of did, imagine if Pennywise was in this movie, it'd be amazing.
This should have been an 18 or an R rating. Like,
Absolutely.
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 I mean, the whole thing, they shoot a guy with their gun, turns into to candy floss. Sorry, I gotta keep saying it. It turns into candy floss. What was the other thing then? When they finally figure out how to kill them, shoot
Mhm.
them in the nose, and the fact that the shotgun is that accurate, okay, that's fantastic. But the way they die is so PG. It's like they turn
Yeah.
into a green, I don't know, like
Lightning goop.
spectrum, and then yeah, but they don't even become goop. They just disappear. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's just budget, and it just nothing
Yeah,
has the kind of visual impact that I wanted to. Every sort, and the again, what annoys me with these films sometimes is when you get a hint of what you want, and there's like a 20-minute period where there's the bit where the clown shows up at the bus stop. It's really surreal. And you mentioned in the
shadow
intro, he
puppets.
starts
Yeah.
doing the shadow
Yeah.
puppets. I gotta be honest, I've never saluted, street art in my life, but yours
I
I
wrote that
absolutely
down as well.
will.
I wrote it down and said, I can't believe he saluted. And then I realized he kind of saluted what looked like the Civil War at
Yeah,
some
yeah.
point.
So we'll allow it. But that sequence, the way he shows up, the bus goes past really quickly, and the clown's just suddenly there, and you have that really surreal moment with like it doesn't make any sense, but it's imaginative, it's surreal. I'm totally on board. And that sequence happens almost the exact same time as Mooney, the horrible cop, who you're just waiting for him
Yeah.
to get his comeuppance. They have that sequence where the two punks embedded in candy floss in the prison, and they peel the stuff off and you see their faces all fucked up, and then the clown is basically using Mooney as a puppet,
It's a
and
meat
he's
puppet.
just,
Yeah.
and I can't remember exactly what he says, but he's kind of like, oh, we don't worry, Dave, all we want to do is kill you.
Kill you.
And I'm
Yeah.
just like, man, that's the first time in the film that's like really dark and quite scary. And then it all gets a bit silly again. I'm just like, man, there's like a brief 20-minute spell when this film is actually really good and what I wanted it to be. And then it just becomes kind of dopey, silly fun
Even
again.
even the whole like with the bikers, and you got the little clown, and he
Mhm.
brings his bike, and then you got the bully biker who destroys his thing and says, "What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?" And obviously he knocks his block off. Then you get
It's
the one woman.
followed by one of cinema's greatest dams. It's like he's just watched his
Yeah,
friend get his head literally punched off. It's like, damn.
that's what I mean. Like he just knocked the guy's head into a rubbish bin. The
Yeah.
woman rightfully screams, but
Mhm.
that dude goes, "Damn!" And he might as well have just walked away at that point, like not
He's
even like being scared.
so
Like
chill.
that's reaction is not for that murder. He knocked the dude's head clean off his shoulders.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
yeah.
a run away as fast as you can murder. Only that, those bikers didn't seem bothered about it after that because a lot of them were at the big top circus burger bar place
Yeah,
outside.
they seem completely nonplussed, as most of the town did. To be honest, these clowns are just cutting about town. But as you say, the town of what's it called? Something Cove, Crescent Cove.
Crescent Cove.
It's a strange place right from the off. Now, so if we go back to the start of the film, to give it its dues, it starts with the Dickies track "Killer Clowns,"
One
and it's a
fucking
great
song.
start.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a great start. I was just like, all right, I'm feeling this track. I quite liked the score throughout by who is it, John Mazzari. And I was just like, all right, this maybe this film is going to be a lot better than I remember. And then, of course, you get that classic 80s style, just tons of casual drinking and driving going on. Everybody is at sexy point at Crescent Cove and just making out and having sex. Everybody's there at the same time. It's borderline dogging, but it's the 80s, so it's
So it
absolutely
wasn't
fine.
even called like Make Out Point or anything, was it? They
No,
called
no,
it
no.
top of the world.
Top of the
Fucking
world.
hell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's just basically let's go fuck point. Like, I mean, that's generally it.
So this town is obsessed with apparently clowns. You've got
Hmm.
Big Top Burger, the brothers who apparently are meant to
The
be like
Terenzi brothers.
the
Is that the
Terenzi
name?
brothers.
Yeah.
Yep, they're meant to be the outcast brothers. They're just rocking around. What do we want? We want to serve people who are fucking ice cream. Okay, that's that.
At night. At
At
night,
night,
yeah.
yes, at night. Fucking fantastic. And obviously, there's not going to be much of a plot in this film, but I do love how the director, and maybe the writers, because directed by Stephen Chiodo, written by him and his brothers, Charles
Hmm.
and Edward, and they are FX guys.
Yeah, yeah,
So they wanted to showcase the FX and what they can do, and that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they must have not even thought about a script. Because halfway through this, they must have thought, oh, we need to explain something. So I love Mike Tobacco just casually out of nowhere going, do you think these clowns came before, maybe during Dark Ages, and that's why we understand what clowns are
You're
now?
being very kind. It was in the last act of the movie. It was so close. I was thinking, I'm watching the film and just like they haven't even tried to explain why they're clowns.
No, no.
Like this is an 83-minute movie, and I didn't check, but I'm pretty sure it's around 60, 65 minutes in. He's like, this is weird, right? That they're clowns. And it's basically the same kind of explanation that they give to Thor and the Asgardians, sorry, in the Marvel films. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, science, like when science is advanced enough, it appears as if to be magic to people. So they end up basing their legends on it. So this idea that these guys have just shown up as clowns and then being like, oh, well, they're cool. We'll just kind of have them from now. It really
I
is
love
a stretch to say the least.
like it is because so then we've taken all those ideas and changed like popcorn became our popcorn, but they're real like they're eggs basically for weird
Yeah.
clown neck things that
They're also
come out of
bullets
baskets.
from the
They're
popcorn
also
gun,
bullets.
which
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
absolute. It looks
Yeah.
amazing. The popcorn gun, amazingly designed, absolutely useless. And that is the thing with like their whole design. It's like everything's based on like a big top. Inside, it's got like fun house vibes. But from a practical standpoint,
Yeah,
it just makes zero goddamn sense.
you're going to stop and wait while you create a balloon animal sniffer dog? Okay, that's
So
absolutely
at least
fantastic.
it actually, unlike the popcorn gun, at least the sniffer dog, once created, did actually work like a sniffer dog. And I
Yeah,
was wondering because the sniffer dog gets killed. I was like, is it okay? Because usually it's not cool to kill a dog on screen. Is it okay to kill a balloon dog?
I'm
Apparently
pretty
so.
sure it's okay to pop a balloon. I'm pretty sure it's fine.
Although,
And
what
you
happens to just quickly while we're on
go on.
dogs, what happens to the old hillbilly? So Farmer Gene Green, who, let's be clear, just happens to be sitting on his porch reading about Halley's Comet. Of course he is. His dog is stolen by the clowns. I'm pretty sure you don't see it again. Do we go
No,
on the
you
assumption
don't.
that the dog has
I
been
think that
killed?
dog is in. I think that dog is in Candy Floss as well. If
Well,
I'm
he's
honest,
very upset. I mean,
yeah.
like it's so on
He's
the nose. Like,
but he's
what in
not.
tarnation? And then he literally just punches the big top. Ridiculous.
Everything about him, like Haley's comment, we're gonna make. What was it? We can sell wieners, we can sell drinks, we can do. And he goes there and like that completely forgets about everything when he goes in the middle. He doesn't even question us in the middle of the woods. I mean, at least
No.
Debbie is questioning a little bit. Why is it so far out? But he's like, oh boy, the circus. I wonder if we can get some free tickets. Where's the ticket booth around here, Tarnation? Like,
Oh, he's
going on?
such a ridiculous character, and I know they're going for like comedy there, but it
Yeah.
just doesn't land. The character just comes
His
across as ridiculous.
his real name. So in this, he was Farmer Gene Green,
Mhm.
but his real name is fantastic. It's Royal Danham.
That is a pretty cool name, in fairness.
Mm.
And you mentioned Mike Tobacco. Like Mike Tobacco's an amazing name. It's just a shame that he looks like a middle-aged accountant. Like he's not deserving of that
No,
name at all.
Do you know who Mike Tobacco is? Mike Tobacco is Paul, like is Paul from the Blob. Like Paul
Oh
looks
yeah,
like the
yeah,
middle-aged accountant,
yeah,
but
yeah,
then
yeah,
gets killed, and then you've got the mullet-wearing
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
biker jacket hero.
Yeah, yeah.
But unfortunately, they thought, oh, you know what? We can't really kill Mike Tobacco. He's got a contract. Oh, mate, you should have killed him off. And
Why did they make him so lame? And I don't get why Mike Tobacco, like, he's not the coolest cat in the world, but he's a handsome enough dude. He's clearly at least getting, round in second base with Debbie. And I just didn't get why he's friends with the Terenzi brothers. Like, they're clearly mentally challenged. The whole thing about their van showing up, and they've got those two larger women who they seem to have tricked there with the promise of free ice cream. I'm like,
yes,
what the fuck is going on? But he's just like, oh, the Terenzi brothers. I fucking love those guys. Why? Why do you like these psychos?
they're from high school. So Debbie says to Officer Dave Hansen, "Oh, we go to the same high school. We're
Mhm.
no longer dating." Okay, Dave and Debbie were dating. Now Dave has gone through police academy. He's
Yeah.
graduated school. I'm assuming college as well. And I'll get
Mhm.
back to police academy in a second. But like, so why is Dave upset? And that doesn't get answered at the end of the film either. Who is she picking? Is she picking
Dude,
Officer, I'm
she
too old for you? Or is she picking
absolutely fucking folds on Mike immediately. Like, they go and save her as soon as Dave shows up. She is basically licking Dave's balls. So,
Hmm.
sorry, that's a little bit crass, but she is all over him. And Mike is just forgotten immediately. And fair play to him, Mike takes it like a champ. He doesn't complain once. I'd be like, dude, like, I thought you was your ex. Like, he apologizes to Dave. It's like, oh, I thought you guys had broken up. She's the one getting off with him. I don't know, man. Debbie's a goer. I quite like Debbie in this film,
I
but
like Debbie in this film.
she plays Mike like a fool. Although, let's
Yeah.
be clear, Mike is a bit of a chump.
The other one as well was going back to the police academy. Officer Mooney. I love
Yes.
the little conversation between, I say love, between
Mhm.
Mooney and Hanson. Mooney comes in, he brings these two punks in. Oh, they were walking and drinking. Why didn't you stay on the college? Well, because it's out of town. No, no, kids like you, there's no law. And
It's
then Hanson turns around to Mooney and goes, you just don't like me because I went to the police academy. So Mooney didn't go to the police academy. How is he a fucking cop?
You mean that alcoholic lunatic Mooney? And let's be clear, those two
Hmm.
punks that he dragged in, and he's like, I caught these kids drinking. You mean those 37-year-old men who you
Yeah,
caught drinking?
yeah.
Like, no, I know it was a different era, but everyone in this film looks 42, and they're supposed to be in high school. It's
I mean, I'm a big guy
wonderful.
for saying, whenever we do a film like this, and I got that 45-year-old, 15-year-old, but you're right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All of them are at least in their 40s. It's absolutely
100%.
insane.
But
But
Curtis
I
Mooney
love
is like
Mooney as well
top
because
tier stuff.
Sorry,
Sorry.
I love Mooney because like Mooney had a flashback. He said, "Oh, I fought in Vietnam for this. I'm not. Nobody's gonna make a fool out of me." Like,
Oh my
oh,
God, he's a ridiculous guy. But he is like borderline one of the worst cops in movie history.
yes,
I'm like, I
yes,
was thinking there's Norman Stansfield in Leon, the lieutenant from Bad Lieutenant, a maniac cop, as you would, the name suggests, not a great cop. Alonzo Harris in Training Day. They're all bad cops, and they might be worse cops in terms of what they do, but in terms of just being an incompetent, horrible bastard, I genuinely think Mooney is right fucking up there.
Mooney is right up there. And I wrote it down. Right, I said, I don't think I've ever wanted a character in a film to die as much as I want Mooney to.
And he
Like
dies maybe more horribly than it. Like I said, the whole puppet sequence,
the whole
it's
puppet scene, yeah.
pretty dark, in
Yeah, like
fairness.
when the clown pulls his hand out of him and it's covered in blood and then he waves. Yeah, it's the darkest because it leads a bit more to your imagination. It is the darkest depth. It's because it's not silly. I love one of my favorite deaths in this film is the shadow puppet scene because I think technically from a
Yeah, me too.
filming standpoint, I think it's great. You've got the shadow puppets.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, he's eating the Tyrannosaurus is eating the crowd and
Mhm.
fantastic. And Dave doesn't want to go anywhere near the clown. Like he's
Mhm.
let's wait and see what he does. Okay, now now the
Yeah,
clown's eating him.
let's
Let's
just
run him
watch.
down. Yeah, but the rest of them are like I said, just silly and goofy. We've turned them into cotton candy, so candy floss. I keep doing it. We turn them to candy floss so we can drink them and everything like that. And then but
with
then
with
Mooney,
with the space straw, the
yeah,
really over-designed space straw.
and then Mooney's was like they were like, oh, we're not turning Mooney is too fucking. He's going to be sour if we try and drink him, so we'll just turn him into a puppet.
Well, that's the weird thing. They do it with two people. So nearly everyone else, they turn into and let's be clear, it looks like pink fried chicken. That's what the kind of like
Yeah.
the cotton candy floss, whatever you want to call it,
It
cocoons.
looks like a chicken leg, yeah, yeah.
It totally looks like a chicken, but it's kind of cool. Like the idea that they're, harvesting it. It's very much like aliens. The only difference is they eat you at the end of it, or cross between Alien and Soylent Green, I suppose it would be.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'll allow for Mooney, because he's a horrible bastard, he gets unique treatment. We don't even want to eat him. We're just going to give him, a horrible death. But then Debbie, there is no reason for them to put Debbie in a fucking balloon. There's just none, other than the fact
Whatsoever.
that they need her to survive for the movie.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Unless they recognized her from the big top because of the I don't know home
But
in
even
Beacon
then,
popcorn. Unless they recognized her from that, I understand. But then again, they try and force feed that to you in the thing because at the end of the film,
Mhm.
as they're trying to escape, Officer Hanson turns around and goes, "Oh, there might be more people in these balloons. There's actually balloons scattered around."
there are in
So,
fairness. So it
so
is
there
kind
is a
of
bit of a
half
hint that
explained
yeah.
at the end. But
What I
like,
loved about that thing when they turned Debbie into the balloons, though,
uh
was when she had Mike at the door and she went to open it, she was happy, and it wasn't. It was a really tall clown, so she shut the door, and then she goes to the window to maybe attempt to jump out. I didn't know why I found it creepy to find all those clowns underneath with the world's smallest, like it looked like razor blades they were holding in a circle. And then she turned around, there's three clowns in a room. Fuck me, these things are silent.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's what I mean.
absolutely.
I just wish they'd gone. Like, there was loads of opportunity for them to be creepier. There is actually one relatively creepy scene, but again, I don't know, I get annoyed by the fact that it just ends up not making any sense for no particular reason. It's the scene where there's like, I don't know, it's like a McDonald's or something like that, and there's a big ass clown
Big
outside.
Top Burger.
Yeah, a big top burger. Sorry, you did already say it. And he's luring the little girl outside.
Yeah.
And behind his back, he's got a giant mallet. He's like, he's going to bludgeon that little girl to death. But then the last minute, her mum comes up. She goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like, the clown is right in front of her, this big, huge, horrible looking clown. And she doesn't say a thing about it. She's just like, "Oh, let's get on with our day."
Yeah.
So,
Well, he
all
was
right, fair enough.
that clown was still there when the bikers were just outside.
Yeah,
The
he's
bikers
just
were
hanging
outside
about.
and he was just hanging around. Like nobody seems to be upset. Like these bikers have just witnessed a clown
Yeah, yeah,
knock Slug's head off.
yeah.
Okay. And then they've gone, oh, you know what? Slug had his head off, but I'm a little bit hungry. Let's go to Big Top Burger. Nobody's
I th-
noticed.
I would have preferred if they kept the emphasis on the bikers. I'm just like, as soon as they show up, it's like, should have let that man ride his bike. It's just like every quote by that one biker guy, I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
And of course, then he disappears for the rest of the film, and we're back with fucking Mike and it's Dave, isn't it, the cop?
Like in Dave, yeah. I got really upset as well. And this may be a Rob take, but I'm sticking with the one I've got. I got really upset with the guy at Big Top Burger.
Mhm.
The way he looked in the bin, in the skip at the back.
Oh, that's classic Rob. That is, yeah. I have
I
no
got
idea
really
what the fuck you're talking about.
So
The way he looked in the bin.
So the clown before he tries, or as he's leaving, he
Mhm.
he opens his satchel and there's just popcorn in there. So
Yeah,
he pulls out a handful of popcorn, chucks it in the bin, walks away, like because he knows something's going to happen.
yeah.
The Big Top Burger guy comes, chucks the rubbish in. He is rustling around, opens it, goes from the side, and instead of just looking in the bin to see what's going on, he puts half of his body in the bin.
Oh no, I do know what you mean. Sorry, I
Yeah.
know exactly what sorry, I was thinking in the background there was someone just looking in a normal bin. No,
No.
when he looks in the bin and he goes to the point where he's off his feet. Like, this is why you should be a director. I can just imagine you filming it and going, so Dave, if you just have a look in the sorry, I shouldn't use the name Dave. Dave's one of the
Yeah.
characters. Steve, if you could just look in the bin, that's pretty much all you have to do, and then somebody will pull you in. And as soon as his feet sorry, Steve, I know I asked you to look in the bin. At any point, did I ask you to look in the bin like a cunt? Because that's what you're doing. What the fuck's your game? The moment his feet left off the ground, I'm just like, well, you deserve to die. You 100% deserve to. I don't even think that's a Rob take. The guy's a fucking moron.
Absolutely. To go from the side where it's higher, not even to go from the front, to go from the side, it's insane
It's
to me.
so awkward. And things like I see, I'm watching movies more like you. I mentioned for the podcast this week, and it's a movie. If you're interested in watching a decent horror film, Steven Soderbergh's Presence. It was released this year, but it's on Sky Movies already. It's low budget, but it's really imaginative, really fun. And an almost faultless film. It's not like a perfect film, but like really enjoyable. But there is one sequence where the family are having dinner, and obviously it's to get the shot. But you've got the mum and the dad at either end of the table, and then you've got the brother and the sister both sitting on the same side of the table. And I was like, "Fuck you!" No, like nobody sits like that. It's the stuff of lunacy. If I walked in someone's house and you had 4 people sitting at a table and 2 were sitting on the same side, I'm like, "What the fuck's going on? What the fuck is going on here? It's insane."
I mean, if you've got 4 people on a table, it's one each side. You've got fucking
Of
4
course it is.
sides.
There's 4 sides to the fucking table. Why would the brother and sister both sit on the same side? It makes no sense other than they wanted to get a
The
very
camera
specific
angle.
shot.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get it.
but no, but that's the kind of shit maybe I would have let slide in the past because I keep doing podcasts with your fucking ass. I'm just like, oh yeah, yeah. Now I'm noticing all this wacky shit all the time. So yeah, cheers
Yeah.
for that, buddy.
You're welcome. You're
You're
welcome.
slowly ruining movies for me. Apparently, it is what it
You're
is.
not the only one who said that, Mark. I've had a few people that turn around and go, I have to listen to your fucking podcast. Dave says it as well. Our
Mhm, mhm.
frequent collaborator, Dave. He says, I can't, I do my wife's head in because when I watch a film now, I'm pointing all this shit out and it's because of fucking you.
Yeah,
What do
you
you want me to
specifically,
do?
not me.
Yeah.
That's
No,
you.
it's me.
That's
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I mentioned the fact that I want to stick with the bike gang, but no, you're back with
Mm.
Mike and Debbie. Like Debbie's fun, but Debbie's the only one with a bit of sense at least. It's like when they first get to the big top, and she's just like, "Listen, this shouldn't be." And it looks cool. There's a couple of matte paintings in this film which actually are pretty ace. And they go in, and she doesn't want to go in because this is
No.
mental. But Mike's like, "Yeah, let's just go in." And he's all like, you go in, it's clearly a fucking spaceship, and he's like,
Yep.
"Oh, maybe it's a nuclear power plant." Why would it be that, Mike? Oh, it could be a missile silo. I'm like, come on, Mike. And then, like, then he sees cotton candy and he's like, oh, it's just cotton candy. Like, everything is fine now. It's like, dude, none of this makes a lick of sense.
No.
And Debbie's response is absolutely gold. She just looks at him and says, nobody stores candy like this, Mike. I was like, she is right. It's a weird way to
Yeah.
put it, but yeah, there's definitely something strange going on here.
What I loved as well when they were in there first, he's saying, "Can we go? Can we go?" I mean, I did like his explanation at the beginning when they were in the woods, and he
Mhm.
said, "I need to check it out." I said, "No, no, no, I want to go. Let's go back and have some fun." No, no, no. What would you prefer? What would you be more scared at? The fact that I'm going to leave you here, or you coming with me? She
Yeah, it's
said, "Well,
pretty
I'll be
good.
more scared if you leave me here." So no matter what was happening, he was ditching her ass to go and check
Oh,
out the
yeah,
fucking
he
thing.
was going
But
in.
when they went inside, oh my god, and he said, how did they design this? Circus R Us? And like, oh fucking hell! All right, now you're clowns R Us or whatever he said, nailing
Something
on the
along
head.
those lines. Yeah, yeah.
And she's going, I'm really scared. Okay, that's fine. We'll leave in a minute. Let's just walk to the end of the corridor. Now he pointed to the end of the corridor, and the camera points to the end of the corridor when he says that. There's two doors. Why are they walking to it if he doesn't go, well, look through those doors? He said, so are you going to go to the end of the corridor and just touch the door? What the fuck are you on about? You definitely are going to go in and see that massive fucking what engine. And I love it when he's saying these things as well. Like, is it was it like a weapons thing? No. Is it a missile silo? And she's going, no. It's obviously a spaceship. Like
Yeah,
fucking,
it's
she is
clearly a
talking
spaceship.
sense. Yeah.
And the thing is, yeah, of course, once you start seeing like those creepy ass clowns, because that's one of the big differences. It's like until he goes all weird, you think of like Pennywise is the obvious comparison.
Yeah.
He actually just looks like a clown when people first go and see. Like it's a little bit creepy, but he looks like a clown. These look like monsters with clown makeup
Straight
on,
away.
which is
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
what there is. So I don't know why anyone would go near him. The other side of that, though, is yeah, they look scary and they've got laser guns and although at the end of the film, they seem to abandon their laser guns in favor of just bats and bits of stick to kind of bludgeon people to death. But sure, the only thing with them is that one, they're really easy to get away from because they're super slow. Like there's a seat, like once they leave the tent, they see a sign, the clowns, and it says 5 miles into town, and they start walking, and you're like, dude, you're not getting there until like next week walking at that pace. And of course, all it needs is a little tap on the snout and they just fucking explode. I'm like, surely evolution would take care of this. I mean, earlier in the film, I'm like, would he get shot in the nose? I'm like, if someone shot me in the dick, for instance, I'd probably explode as well. But at the end of the film, with, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead here, but
That's
Clownzilla,
okay.
or whatever he's called, and he kills him with his badge by just literally giving him a little tap on the snout.
His badge
Like,
doesn't even
guys,
touch. His badge doesn't even touch it. Like he literally shows his nose the badge and it blows up. It's insane. Well, thank you for jumping to the ending because the other thing I wanted to say, you actually the ending and the middle when they walk into town, like you said, it's
sorry.
5 miles.
So we're covering the ending and the middle. Yeah.
Which
Okay. Cool.
covering the
Cool.
ending
Cool.
and the middle because
Yeah.
it's kind
Gotcha.
of like both. When the clowns are walking into town, as you've just said, this
Mhm.
might be the beginning, not the end, and not the middle. Where was the conversation for the clowns to turn around to one of the clowns and go, "Do me a favor, go move the spaceship to the abandoned Scooby Doo fun fairground for me. Just put it right behind
Yeah.
the horror house." And I love this all because that came out of the blue. They've lost the car, the clown car with Balloon Debbie on.
Hmm.
Mike, Officer Dave Hansen jumps into the fucking the ice cream truck, Jojo's ice cream truck.
Hmm.
He's driving. Well, I lost them. Where are we going to go? Well, where do you think they would go if they're clowns? Oh, yeah, the amusement park. All of a sudden, they're on a coast road with a mountain next to them, going to
Hmm.
a pier that's a fucking amusement park. And it is so Scooby Doo. I was half expecting them to, like the clowns to go, we could have got away with it if it wasn't for you dumb kids.
Right, it's a ridiculous sequence. Like aesthetically, it's one of my favorite shots in the movie when they're
Oh,
going
it
down the
looks fucking
coast
great. That
and
looks
you
like a
get
matte painting, by the way. That
yeah,
looks,
oh, it's 100%. It's a matte
yeah.
painting, but it looks fantastic. At one point, I was just like, wait, have they expanded? Like, or is it because when they got there, of course, there was the security guard, and I was like, wait, is the security guard working for the clowns? I was like, no, no, no. This is actually just a pre-existing amusement park, and they've decided to land in a conveniently tent-shaped spot right in the middle of it. Fair enough.
Security guard never noticed, by the way.
Yeah, which he never know. No, doesn't look around and go, is that always been there? I guess these carny folk, they come in and out, who knows? And then Judy gets pied to death, which might be a movie first. I was just like, oh, they've just thrown pies at him until he dies. So no, no, no. The pies actually burn through his skin, which makes me think that if this movie was actually like 30 seconds longer, our heroes may have all just kind of melted to death because they all get hit by
Yeah,
pies at
yeah,
the
they
end.
all get hit. But also, one of the Terenzi brothers should have lost his fingers because he dipped his fingers in the acid pie.
Well,
When he
I
says it
mean, let's
looks
be
like melted
clear.
ice cream, and he dips his fingers in it, and then Dave turns around and goes, "That ain't pie, or that ain't ice cream." And you see the
Wow.
skeleton.
They should absolutely. There's no excuse for the Terenzi brothers to be alive. Like, firstly, they didn't need to put themselves in that much danger. You know, every so often they just show up like fucking Gandalf in the Two Towers, showing up to save the day in their ice cream van again in the middle of the night. It's all very strange. You know, is it as strange as them having sex with like big boobed space clowns?
Oh my god!
No, but that appears to have happened and is
Where did the
completely
space
glazed
women come
over.
from? Just all of a sudden, there's
I
space women,
have
and
no idea.
her boobs kept growing as well.
Yeah,
And
I like when did that stop? Did they just keep getting bigger? But
when,
clearly it's implied by their rib clothes that they had buck wild sex with these
when
space clowns. But
the Terenzis
sure.
turned around and went, "Are these Debbie's roommates?" What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, as I said, mentally challenged. So they're like, well, we're not going to run away from the giant clownzilla beast because our ice cream van is a rental. So we need to stay in it and apparently die. It blows up. But at the end of the film, they're like, oh, like Indiana Jones and what is the Indiana Jones and the
Crystal Skull.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull when he, escapes in a fridge, which I know I've
Dude,
defended in the
no,
past.
no, no. It's not that. I will defend another one. I'll not defend it, but I will give you a better version of that we hid in the freezer.
Okay.
Fucking Danny Aiello, or whatever his name is, from
Mhm.
Hudson Hawk. We saw you
Oh,
go off
yeah.
the limo. Yeah, there was sprinklers in the back. Can you believe it? Yeah, but you felt airbags in the back. Can you believe it?
Yay! And they've got that same kind of vibe. Hey, we hid
Yeah.
in the fridge. Everything's cool. It's like everyone survived that. There's no like the thing blew up. Dave died. The Terenzi brothers died. Everyone should be dead. But everyone just lands in a clown car and you're just like,
And
all right,
again,
it's that
all right,
kind of
that's
fucking
fine.
movie.
You've survived the. I'll give you the fact you've survived the explosion. I'll give you the fact
Mhm.
you've all managed to squeeze into a clown car in the milliseconds it takes for that to explode. That's fine. But you're surviving the fall
Mhm, mhm.
in the
Yeah,
clown
well,
car.
that's another question. That's the thing. Try and make sense of this film at your peril. It's like, as you said, like for half the film, it's basically just the clowns doing a murder montage. There's a little bit of plot. They could have even made it an interesting love triangle. They don't really bother with that. They half explain the clown thing away with nothing to back it up. They're just like, well, like, it might be that. And then the movie just kind of ends. I don't really get the Terenzi brothers at all. For some reason, out of the blue, one of the clowns has a flying bike, which looks terrible, an invisible flying bike, like fucking
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. Completely unnecessary because it looks like you said, the practical effects for the most part actually look okay in this film. And then suddenly you have a flying bike which just looks rubbish. Why didn't you just have a bike covered in clown stuff? Like that would just work so much better and it would have looked cool. But no, no, we're gonna have this weird visual, VFX nightmare instead. Yeah, anything in a car in this film, just be clear, doesn't work. Nothing looks good as soon as the car's involved.
You know, we're talking about the Terenzis as well. Did you take note of what they said when they rocked up to Makeup Point, top of the world, when they had their
Something
little speech?
insane, I'm sure.
I'm Jojo the ice cream clown. We'll give you a stick, you'll give it a lick, and it'll tickle you all the way down. Ice cream, ice cream. We brought our goodies here to you. A tasty treat for while you screw. Let's take a break, cool off those hot lips with our frozen fruity bars, icy wicey fudgy wudgy bars, and everyone's frozen delight, the liquor stick.
I mean, right, it was the 80s and everyone was horny. Like that was one of the things in movies. It all goes back to like Animal Farm. I
Yeah,
don't know
Animal
if I'm
House,
mixing this
Animal
up.
House.
Animal House. It all
Don't mix
goes
up Animal
to
Farm and
yeah,
Animal
yeah,
House.
yeah. Really
Fucking
don't go
hell.
mixing up those two.
No.
So everyone's horny, but like their kind of business plan is, all right, these guys are really horny. We're going to lean into this because what do you want mid coitus? An ice cream, obviously. And
I
again,
don't
that's how they're luring girls. Up there, they're just like, oh, bitches love free ice cream, dude. We're going to get laid all the time.
I can't say that mid coitus, as you eloquently put it. I can even say it that eloquently. Uh, Mid coitus, I've never stopped, and I've never had my partner stop and go, "Do you know what I could do with some Ben and Jerry's?"
Yeah, like it's a bizarre choice, and I just don't know why they felt the need to make them ice cream. And they're so into ice creams, so bizarrely. Like again, despite the fact that they look 40, they're supposed to be like young kids, and they're
Yeah,
just
they're high
like
school
that
students.
into ice cream. Like what the fuck is going on?
Also, it's a rental, so who's renting an ice cream truck to high school students for the
Well, I mean,
nighttime?
it's the non-existent parents I can only assume, and there are very few actual adults or adults as they're sold in this film. One of the few is, and it's one of the weirdest scenes in the movie, and one of the most bizarre examples of ADR I've ever heard in my life. So the clowns come into town, and one of the first things they do is go into a convenience store, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah,
like a local
yeah,
shop,
yeah,
and they just start kind of I wouldn't even start smashing the place up. They're just kind of looking around. And there's this old dude who obviously owns the place, who's working behind the till. And he just keeps making these really bizarre sounds, but you can see that the sounds don't match up with his mouth. Now, I clearly have an issue with bad ADR. So, ADR, for those who don't know, is when you go in and you record after you've shot something and you
yeah.
put the audio back over what you filmed. Now, I watched Good Boy this weekend, and my wife loved it. I thought it was pretty good, but one of my major issues is they do this clever thing because the movie Good Boy is shot from the perspective of a dog, but obviously it has humans in it, but you can't see their faces. Oh, you see them once or twice, but you can never see them up close. It really puts the emphasis on this is the dog story, and it works pretty well. But for everything the humans say, it's clearly been done with ADR after the fact, and
Yeah.
it just took me out of the film because it's bad ADR. This is a whole different level. It's
So
just him looking confused and then just putting these, like you said, it's not even like he's saying anything. Just bizarre. Oh no. I'm
uh,
just like,
so
what the hell's going on with this scene?
I'll give you the ADR is bad, but also the editing is bad
Terrible.
because I had to think about it. I rewound that once or twice as well because I thought the same as you. But what it turns out has happened is the clown
Mhm.
sees the gorilla at the beginning, sees all these people coming up towards him, so pretends to be an animatronic as well.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
it cuts to something else. Then it cuts back to that,
Mhm.
and there's the guy going blah, 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 and then it cuts away again. Then it cuts back to all these people on the floor in that convenience store
Mhm.
covered in candy floss. So
Mhm.
basically,
Mhm.
what's happened is he's gone into that store, ravaged them, turned them into candy floss. The guy behind the counter has seen this, and he's trying to.
Got you, got you.
But like the editing is fucking insane.
Well, yeah, the edit, like if you want to see a bizarre example of editing or pacing, whatever you prefer to call it, because they're set so far apart, you couldn't really call it. I guess it has been edited that way, but the scene, like to get to my point, it's the scene with Debbie in the shower. So they kind of posit the idea that there's popcorn on her clothes and the popcorn are like little monster things, yeah.
Little eggs.
Yeah. So she
Yeah,
gets in the shower and then it cuts away for like 50. And remember, this is an 83-minute movie.
yeah.
It cuts away and you just forget about it. And then all of a sudden, 50 minutes later, they go back to Debbie in the shower. Still nothing happens. They cut away for another 15 minutes and they eventually get to Debbie getting out of the shower and something fucking happens. I'm like, the payoff is not worth the fact that
No,
you stretch that sequence over like 40, like literally half the movie. It's bananas.
because I also questioned then. I appreciate in the laundry basket.
Mhm,
I appreciate they were on a clothes, so they're in there.
mhm.
But how did the popcorn get in her medicine cabinet and toilet?
I don't know. You can ask me anything about this film. I just do not have the answer. I don't think the directors, the writers, who are the same people, have the answers to these things. It's to say, like, why when the big top, clown house, it is just a big top, right?
Yeah, it's called
Yeah,
a big top, isn't it?
yeah, big top. When
Clown
it
tent,
takes
yeah.
off at the end, is it supposed to look like Master Control from the original Tron? Because it looks
I
just
don't
like him.
know.
It
Yeah,
looks just like Tron sans the face, but it
yeah.
just could be a limitation on their budget. But yeah, it's very
You know
few
what?
things in this movie make sense, sadly, which isn't the most important thing. And it comes back to our initial point. Like we can kind of like,
Nitpick.
get into
Yeah.
the weeds, nitpick over little things, but fundamentally the issue remains it's not particularly scary and it's not as imaginative as it should be.
Oh no. Do you know what I thought? And again, because I have seen this in the past, I did have fun with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe not as much this time, but
Mhm.
what I forgot about the ending, I did forget about the monster, like Clownzilla.
Mhm.
But what I was kind of hoping for when Clownzilla came down, he's on marionette strings,
Yeah,
and I was super hoping for a bigger clown
yeah.
to be, but no, he just cut his own strings and then
Yeah,
got
why
killed
was he
by
on
a badge.
strings?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought the same. I was like, oh, is it going to be like a clown being, kind of like in Aliens, where they're just like, oh, you see the eggs, and then someone's like suddenly asked the question, like, what's laying the eggs? And you're like, oh, it's going
yeah.
to be something massive to be laying these eggs. And you see this massive clown come down on the marionette strings, like, awesome. It's going to be like controlled by, but no, it just cuts its own strings. Like, well, what was the point in the strings?
Yeah.
It's absolutely bizarre. And I could ask the question. I mean, they're kind of lucky in the 1980s. Like their whole vibe seems to be fundamentally based around the fact that people want to go to the circus. And I'm just like, if you dropped a big top in the middle of the city now, I'm like, people just aren't into clowns anymore. Like the circus just isn't a thing. I was just thinking, like in 2025, they would have a better chance of being the Lady Boys of Bangkok from outer space. That
Yeah.
feels like the kind of show. I mean, I feel like I'm giving away free ideas now. The Lady Boys of Bangkok from outer space. Jesus Christ. If you can make the Killer Clowns from outer space, why can't you make that movie in 2025? But yeah, it's a high concept. I suspect it's one of those things where they almost thought of the title before the movie. Just like,
Yeah.
you rail a fucking line of coke. You're like,
Well,
wait, clowns from outer space? And that always seems to be a thing. Isn't like Pennywise from outer space as well? Isn't that his deal?
yeah, well, Pennywise takes the clown form, doesn't he? But Pennywise isn't a clown.
Yeah, but he's an alien though, right?
Yeah, he is an alien.
Yeah,
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 he's
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, some sort of like old god or something.
Interdimensional
Yeah, yeah,
thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I loved in this, right? I must have said, I loved is a strong word, but I'm saying it anyway. Debbie's Phoebe Cates moment about
Mhm,
why
mhm,
she
mhm.
hates clowns.
Yeah, it's
These
brilliant.
clowns came up to me and then they put me on their shoulder and spun me around, and everybody was laughing at me. Right.
It's not quite the same as Phoebe
No,
Cates and Gremlins, is it? It
but
doesn't have the
what I
same
mean,
impact.
it's absurd, isn't it? Like Phoebe Cates' moment is absurd. This is absurd.
Everything is. I mean, the only thing I'll say is, right, as absurd as this movie is, and I mentioned at the top of the podcast when I was on about like high concept horrors, I was watching this on Amazon Prime. So if you are listening to this and you are interested in giving it a go, like I said, for all its faults, it's 83 minutes long. It's a bit of silly fun. If you're going to watch it, tis the season and all that jazz. It went directly from this into Ghoulies, and I've never
Yeah.
seen Ghoulies
Have you
before.
never seen Ghoulies?
Fuck me. That is a strange movie. I was watching like, what the
So
fuck?
you
Because
actually hang on.
I didn't even know what I was watching at first because
So
it
you've
just
watched Ghoulies? You watched
no,
Ghoulies then?
I've never seen Ghoulies. Like, and this is the first time I watched it. I wasn't even aware I was watching Ghoulies. It's just the next film started. I was like, well, this seems weird. But I was just like, well, I've just watched Killer Clowns. They're doing like, if you like that, you'll probably like this. And then I realized it was Ghoulies. And all I've known from Ghoulies, I always remember so many of these movies we talk about, I always remember the VHS cover from back in the
Yeah,
day.
coming out of the toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's a really
So
surprisingly iconic poster for a movie which I don't think was massively popular. I always think of it on that kind of rung below the likes of like
well, I
Critters.
mean, it gave us 3 films, didn't it? Ghoulies
It
gave us 3.
certainly did, but
Did,
a lot of
so
bad
did you
films have
watch it?
given us 3 films. I
Did you
watched
watch
like
the whole
15
thing?
minutes,
Oh,
but
okay.
then for basically because we do this podcast, I was like, dude, we're gonna end up doing Ghoulies at some point.
We
I'm gonna
will,
put the
yeah.
brakes on and I'll watch it for the podcast.
That's what I was trying to get to. I was like, I hope you haven't watched it because at some point I'd
No,
love
no,
to
no.
do Ghoulies. Like,
Well, I mean,
I
it'd be
don't know
worth
why.
it. The pre-credit sequence, like I was just like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on here? And it is something uniquely bizarre when you don't know what the movie is that you're watching. You
Yeah.
don't know about the tone. You're just watching this fucking mess of a film, and then all of a sudden I saw the little crunch. I was like, "Oh, it must be Ghoulies," and it was. But
So
yeah,
I would
really
put
bizarre
Ghoulies
stuff.
in wanting to do like House as well, especially House and House 2, which uh absolutely two films that don't share anything. Like House
No,
and
no.
House 2 are insane.
Oh, well, House 3 is completely different as well.
Oh
House
yeah,
3 is the
yeah,
one where is it the guy? Oh God, what's his name? I've got it in my head that it's the actor from Tango and Cash, but I don't think it is him. Maybe it's someone else. But it's a guy who's like on death row and gets kind of killed and then comes
I
back.
don't know. I've seen House and House 2. I haven't seen House 3, so
I remember how I'm sure that was House 3. I always remember the poster, but I'm
because I
pretty sure
remember
they're
House
all
2
like
being
loosely linked at best.
his cowboy ancestor, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
comes
yeah.
back to life. Yeah.
They haven't got much in common. But I actually watched the first House a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
I've
same,
never seen it
same.
before.
Yeah,
It's it's an odd movie. It'd be a good one
yeah,
for the podcast because I'm not saying it's a great movie, but there's plenty to talk about. That's for damn
yeah.
sure. And
Oh,
if nothing else, a fantastic poster, an
it'll
amazing poster.
it'll be a good one to add to the list.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, coming back to this film. So before we move on, just looking at my
Mhm.
notes, I said Mooney deserved to die. He absolutely
Yeah.
100% did. There was another person in this film that really deserved to die,
Mhm.
and it was the weird blonde guy in the gazebo watching the puppet show.
Mhm.
Because he rocks up to
Oh,
again
he's so weird.
to a gazebo in the middle of nowhere. He's
Mhm.
looking around like he's got friends, but there's nobody else with him. Okay, that's
No one
fine.
around. Yeah.
So he rocks up to this gazebo, sees lights and everything going on, sees a puppet show. It doesn't
Mhm.
do anything, doesn't make any sound, doesn't show any emotion.
Nope.
But as soon as the one puppet shoots the other one, then he
Yeah.
has this weird, like Eddie Murphy-esque laugh and starts
Yes.
laughing. And then the clown comes up, and instead of fucking thinking about running or anything, he just stays at it like fucking hell, dude. This is
That
sinister as fuck.
whole sequence is bizarre, and it brings you back to the point I was making a moment ago about the idea that it's supposed to be like a ploy. It's like people love clowns, so we can kind of like lure them in before killing them. If you had a bunch of dudes and they're walking around, they're drinking beers, and then suddenly they're like the lady boys of Bangkok from space there, and they're just like, are those hot girls or are those hot dudes? We're gonna have a closer look. I totally understand it, but this, in fairness, he does look like the kind of fucking weirdo who would stop in the middle of the night and just kind of watch a Punch and Judy show out of fucking nowhere. But he's just one of those guys. Like, I know it's not a big budget, and clearly it's not the best movie ever made. You couldn't have got a better actor than that guy. Like, come on, guys, we can do better than this dude. I don't want to rag on anyone, but he looks weird. He looks uncomfortable. The whole sequence is bizarre and it doesn't work. And you could sadly say that for a lot of sequences in this movie. Do you want to go to the other end of this? Actually, before we do favorite scene, you've mentioned a bunch of times Rob take. This is something innocuous in the movie that needlessly winds Rob up. Now, you mentioned the bin, and I'm glad you didn't pick that because that is just weird. I'm hoping for something a lot more innocuous than that.
Oh, you're gonna get one. So what I was gonna go with was the fact that when the clown knocks his slug's head off, you can
Mhm.
clearly see the zip, and that was like, oh fucking hell, you can see the zip. But that's fine. That's more of a goof. The
Yeah.
one I'm gonna go with, right, is they're in make-out point. The
Mhm.
Terenzi brothers rock up. They do their whole speech. You got
Mhm.
Mike laughing because he's just been chilling out with his missus, with Debbie,
Yeah.
and maybe they've just had some action or anything. They're in his car,
Mhm.
but they're not just in his car. They're in a dinghy in his
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
What the fuck is with the dinghy? Did he like, I don't know, go to the store and go, you know what, I need an air mattress. Oh, we haven't got any, we've sold up because everyone's taken up to make our point. We do have a dinghy.
For
Oh,
the
that'll
back
work.
of a car. Like, you use a blanket, dude. A fucking dinghy. It's weird. And let's be clear, Mike Tobacco's such a cool name. He is a goofy son of a bitch in this film. It just
I was
so undeserving of that name. It's ridiculous.
I was hoping for, and sorry, I say it all the time and it's getting boring. I was hoping for Chekhov's dinghy. Like at some point they're gonna need to escape. They've jumped in a dinghy and they've gone down the fucking
Indiana
hill.
Jones and the Temple of
Yeah,
Doom style.
yeah,
Like, at
yeah.
some point we're gonna have to jump out of a plane with this dinghy. No, it's just a fucking dinghy. So yeah, that's a good one to call out, actually, because it's really bizarre.
It
Um,
is.
in in terms of favorite scenes, we mentioned it already. It's either the bus stop scene because it's the most imaginative sequence in the film, or it's Mooney being used as a puppet because it's the most horrific sequence in the film. So I could pick either. I'll go with the Mooney one because it's the genuine, like maybe one of the few genuine moments of horror in this film, and hints at the film that it could have been, which it rarely is, sadly. So I'm going to go with Mooney as a puppet.
Totally agree. It could have either been both of them because I went with the puppet team, the shadow puppet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like conjuring a giant T-Rex, it's like it's a perfect blend of absurdity, creativity, and horror. It kind of
Mhm.
captures that film's cult appeal.
Yeah.
The practical effects look really good. You can see kind of showcasing what the Chioda brothers can do. Unfortunately, I don't think they did much after this.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that scene is great, but I would have gone with either one of them.
Yeah.
Mooney having I mean, to be fair, I would have liked to have seen his arms and legs get ripped off, but the fact this isn't that kind of film. So to just have
I think it was
the
more
hint,
effective just being
yeah,
creepy.
that's
Like
it.
you said, just
To
seeing the
have the
blood.
hint that my hand is in his back, controlling him is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it comes off the back of finding the middle-aged punks in the cells and stuff, and you're just like, oh yeah, this film can be horrific if it wants to be. And as I say, you don't actually have to show loads of blood. Both of those sequences don't really have much
yeah,
blood. They just implied violence, or they're just really weird. Like you said, when the clown shows up on the bus stop, the way they shoot it, it's just bizarre, and it
yeah.
gives you a sense of the uncanny, and it makes you uncomfortable. Too much of it's just played for broad laughs.
I mean,
Um,
after as well, after you follow the world's weirdest footprints in the
oh
police
yeah.
station.
All very strange, very strange. In terms of loves and hates, my loves, number one of the great movie titles in cinema history, without question. It's like, should there be a sequel to this film? If only we can just bring back the title. Just, more Killer Clowns from Outer Space, please. Number two, when they get it right, the tone is spot on. It's basically that 20 minutes we were talking about there. That there was a
Yeah.
great movie in and around. Well, there's a good movie sneaking, somewhere just behind the scenes. And number three, it's an inherently great premise. I don't think you actually need to explain them away. I like the idea of space clowns coming down and just causing murder. Everyone finds clowns inherently quite unpleasant anyway. So even though the execution is far from perfect, I think it's, as I said, an interesting premise at its core. So those are my loves.
For me, number one, inventive practical effects and the clown design. I mean,
Mhm.
they kind of went in all in on the visuals, like the grotesque yet goofy clown costumes, the spaceship, like, circus tent, everything like circusy, clowny. That they went even to things that they didn't need to. We don't need a popcorn gun. Oh, popcorn's in the circus. Let's do that. Why didn't they have an elephant gun shooting peanuts if you want to go full on circus? But okay,
Mhm.
that didn't happen, so that's fine. But I still like that. Like it's low budget creativity, isn't it? It's just you haven't got
But
much. So
I don't mind the idea of a popcorn gun, but what it should be is horrific. So it's like, oh look, it's like a silly popcorn gun which shoots popcorn, but then the popcorn like goes in someone and literally like, it goes into their back and then like seeps out the front of them. I know that sounds gross, but you wanted to do something actually horrific, but instead it's just like a popcorn gun. You're just like, well, it just looks like it shoots popcorn. Like it's just not
yeah.
cool, but it is what it is.
Number two is the like horror comedy tone. I mean, it's
Mhm.
walking that tightrope between horror and slapstick, mainly more towards the slapstick side of it, but it's not taking itself too seriously. So I didn't mind that with it. Again, low
Mhm.
budget, they're just doing what they can do.
Yeah.
Number three, the pacing and the escalation. Now, what I mean by that is we've already said that like the story is no story, but it wastes no time. Within minutes, you're chasing the meteor, you're exploring the circus spaceship, you're watching townsfolk
Yeah.
get turned into snacks. It's just it hit the ground running, and just kept going.
Yeah, and that is one of the things, like for all of its faults, and we are watching a slightly different way. We're purposefully picking this here.
Yeah,
And even like regardless of that, like you said, it genuinely isn't a great movie. But with it being 83 minutes long and it being like, if nothing else, incredibly propulsive, you can almost like forgive it. Like, because you don't really even have to be paying attention. You know what the fucking deal is. You're not going to
yeah.
miss an important plot point. It is just clowns cutting about killing people. And at its core, it is quite fun in that regard. But yeah, and like I think most importantly, it doesn't outstay its welcome. If this was a 2-hour film, oh Jesus Christ, that
Yeah.
would be a fucking slog. But no, 83 minutes. All right, if we're gonna have no plot, let's really have no fucking
Can
plot
you
and just
imagine?
get
Can
on
you
with it.
imagine this film going back to the other clown? Can you imagine this film as the part one and part two?
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Like directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, or
Yeah.
what's his name? Who directed Nymphomaniac? But he did Nymphomaniac Part 1 and Part 2.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Lars
yeah,
von Trier. No,
yeah.
yeah, Lars. I'd love to see Attack, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Part 1 and Part 2 by Lars von Trier. Now, that would be fucked up. Considering this is the guy who gave us Antichrist, imagine what he'd do with Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That'd be some fucked up
I
shit.
mean, if Lars von Trier is doing it, you just said Nymphomaniac as well. He's doing your film. He's doing Lady Boys of Bangkok.
Oh, 100%.
From outer
And, you know,
space, yeah.
and Sex Peak, or whatever it's called, it would be an absolute freak show up there, no
Yeah.
doubt. In terms of hates, number one, the kills just not as imaginative as they should be. Number two, wish that they'd played it as a straight horror on occasion. It's just not as scary or as gross as it should be. And it just constantly, to me at least, felt like it was pulling its punches. And number three, the Terenzi brothers. They're very much the gutter boy and skank of this movie. For those who haven't listened to the podcast or seen the movie,
you're not putting
the Wraith.
You're not putting the Terenzi brothers with the perfect gutter boy and skank.
Oh, no, I absolutely am. Gutter boy and skank
no.
are also they're not quite as bad as the Terenzi brothers, admittedly, but they're pretty goddamn bad. And I just throw in a fourth one very sneakily. Mike Tobacco does not live up to or just deserve his awesome name. It's just you cannot go give in a character that bland and name that fucking awesome.
Why is he credited as Mike Tobacco? Nobody says his surname in this film.
He's just Mike. Yeah, he's just fucking Mike the accountant. And it's just like, wait, you're just sneaking in tobacco? What the fuck? It must be an in joke or something.
He'd go well with Marlboro Man and Harley Davidson, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, imagine him with those guys. Jesus Christ! Like, wait, so you're Mike Tobacco? I'm not gonna lie, I thought you'd be a bit more, I don't know, awesome. No, I'm just this guy. Okay, cool.
I lost my missus to a copper who's like 20 years older than us, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, we still don't know what's going on with Dave. Like, is he a good guy or is he a sex pest? Could be a bit of both. Who knows?
But it's fine. He went to the academy where Mooney didn't, so
it
doesn't matter. For me, the hates the thin plot and minimal character development. I mean, the story's bare bones. Let's be fair. Aliens land, people die, clowns get zapped. But like characters like Mike and Debbie, they're functional but flat. They serve the plot's purpose, but they don't evolve or surprise us. Let's be fair. And fucking Mooney is like,
well, like
he's
Mooney.
He's
memorable. Be a one-dimensional character, and like you say, he is memorable. But when you have like a bunch of leads, and again, we know what kind of movie we're watching here, but just a little bit of development wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, Mooney, he's memorably awful, but he's more caricatured than he is character. He's doing every bad cop trope that you can get in one.
He's this movie's kind of equivalent of like the angry black police chief from, a bajillion and one cop movies.
Yeah.
He's that guy, only he's the angry, possibly racist, horrendously mean drunk cop.
Yeah. Number two, uneven acting and dialogue. The performances range from campy fun to wooden delivery. The lines feel awkward or forced in scenes meant to build tension or romance. And the tone is intentionally silly, but it's just because of the lack of polish in any of the delivery, it makes it harder for like you to stay engaged with it. So
yeah, because that's the thing. It's not funny enough, it's not scary enough, and it's not really goofy enough. It's not quite enough of anything, to be honest, where it should be a little bit of all those things, but it doesn't really do any one thing particularly successfully. So, like I said, there's enough there for it to be mildly amusing because, like I said, the concept is quite a strong one, but it's just never quite as good as I wanted it to be.
And number three, the repetitive gags. After the initial novelty of a clown-themed kill, it quite leans heavily on, like you said, it becomes a clown kill montage in the middle of the film. I don't know. You can boil it down to clown appears, townsfolk get tricked, cue bizarre death. That's basically what's happened throughout like I said, that middle 20 to 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And no four from me. That's it. Just proper three.
Fair enough. Any alternative titles? I hope not, because if nothing else, it does have a great title, but I'm sure there are a few out there.
Yeah. I think we have a few. Argentina, Killer Clowns from Another Galaxy.
Fair enough.
Yep. Bulgaria, Killer Clowns from the Universe.
It's just slightly different, but basically it's just like our title, but just not quite as good.
I bet you can see where this is going. Yeah. Denmark, 100%. Just Killer Clowns. Germany, Space Invaders.
No, I'm not on that. Plus, there might be somebody. Is it Taito who made Space Invaders? I think it was Taito.
I saw one then. France, Killer Clowns from Elsewhere.
Just the French, just being obscure as usual.
Yeah. Portugal, SOS, Killer Clowns.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Because yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, oh
Uh,
no, somebody tells somebody they're a killer clowns.
and finally, Vietnam murderous clowns.
Yeah, but it doesn't really imply the fact that they're from outer space. So
No.
yeah, I think we're just going to stick with the original on that one. Any facts for this movie? I'm sure there's tons of them.
The scene in which a car is thrown over a cliff was initially intended to be far more spectacular. The car was to fly over the cliff and crash down to the ground. Unfortunately, the sling rope snapped because effects crew members neglected to remove the stoppers from underneath the car's wheels. The
Typical.
result was what is seen in the final film. The car slowly tumbles over the edge and becomes caught on a tree.
Yeah, not quite as impactful in
No.
fairness.
The Dickies, the band who wrote and performed the film's theme song, had actually not seen the film prior to writing the song.
In
That's
fairness, we one of us should have had that in Loves. The opening
yeah,
because
that song is
it's
great.
so
Yeah.
good that they used it in the opening and closing credits of this film, and it is a banger.
That remind like the Dickies, they didn't write it. They didn't see the film or anything before writing the song.
It
That
doesn't
reminds me
matter.
of no, it reminds me of the guy that wrote the theme to St. Elmo's Fire
Mhm, mhm.
because he wrote
Dude,
that without saying
no, no, no. That's a completely different beast. I mean, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, everything you need is in the title. You can
yeah,
guess the
okay.
tone, you can guess the vibe. If you hear St. Elmo's Fire, you're like, all right, where the fuck do I start with this?
Dude, he wrote it about a Paralympian, wheels in motion.
Amazing,
Like,
amazing.
fucking, originally, Clownzilla was supposed to be made with stop motion animation, but due to production costs and limited time to shoot, they made it a suit instead. And I didn't actually say the person inside the suit was the director, Stephen
Yeah, yeah,
Chiodo.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
Stephen Chode, yeah.
Uh, the characters of Mike and Debbie were meant to be a role reversal of horror movie archetypes. Mike is the dumb blonde who doesn't realize bad things are happening, and Debbie is the smarter one who catches on quickly.
Yeah, yeah, fair play. I'll give
Yeah.
him that.
John Mazzari's music for the entrance of Clownzilla was originally composed a year earlier for the Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason Lives movie trailer.
Nice.
Mazzari's music for that trailer was rejected in favor of a more cliche musical approach.
I said, like at the top, like the score for this film is surprisingly decent.
The Chiodo brothers originally did not want to reveal the clowns until later in the film. However, their executive producer insisted that they show them in the first reel.
Yeah, they do not mess around. Like you said, like
No.
this film hits the ground running. There are clowns immediately.
The popcorn gun included a compressor inside that would fire real popcorn. It was the most expensive prop in the movie, costing $7,000 and taking 6 weeks to build.
Popcorn guns they just don't come cheap. They just
No.
don't come cheap.
The car chase in which a clown is driving an invisible car was meant to be shown before the opening credits. The character driving the car is Joe Lombardo, who Mike and Debbie find in a cotton candy cocoon several scenes earlier in the film.
That looks terrible.
Yeah, so that's bad editing again.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Uh, when Mike pulls the cotton candy off the body to reveal the bloody face of Farmer Gene Green, a noticeably smaller cotton candy cocoon is seen hanging behind. This is his dog, Pooh Bear.
Oh, bless him, Pooh Bear. Oh dear.
Approximately 40 clowns were used in the climax in the spaceship Big Top. Please don't
Oh,
tell me
you
about
mean
that.
when for some reason they've all just got clubs?
Yeah.
Just they're just like the worst. You're just like, how are these? And I don't even really know. Were they just going to stop off in town? Because we didn't really mention the fact that they had that float, didn't they? So they're driving through town and they're picking up then basically
Yep.
all of the cocoons. So they're literally just like picking up lunch or like a hibernation thing. It's like we're going to come to town, we're going to put all these motherfuckers in cocoons, we're going to take them with us, and then we're just going to bounce. Was that the plan? I suppose. Guess so. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
It's like they're coming to harvest us. I mean, have they come
Yeah, yeah.
before to harvest us? Because obviously we've getting clown ideas from them now.
I love the idea that this whole film's exactly the same, but then right at the end, one of the clowns comes down and he has like an old-fashioned gun, like at the end of Predator 2. It just has the date
Yeah.
1677, the last time they came down, and 8 human beings.
Right, I'll do a couple more and then we'll leave it there. The movie originally ended with the Terenzi brothers as the survivors of the exploding spaceship, while Dave perished after killing a giant clown. But since the executive needed an upbeat ending, the Chiodo brothers filmed a second ending that is all in all the versions where Dave and the Terenzi brothers survived the exploding spaceship by hiding in the clown car.
Well, that's the
Dave was
thing,
meant to
right?
die.
So, as ridiculous as it is that the Terenzi brothers survived, at least they try and explain it with the whole fridge thing. Dave, he just survives.
Yep.
Why does he survive? Because he's I guess, kind of the hero of the movie, and he's perfectly decent in this film. I forgot his name, the actor. I do have it written down. Dave. I had somewhere. John Allen Nelson. he's the closest thing in this movie to a genuine bona fide movie star, I think. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
has a little bit
He's
of
been in
screen
other things.
presence as Dave, so he's actually quite good. Whatever you might think about the writing for his character, he feels like a proper actor. He borderline feels like a movie star, and I can see why they wanted him to survive that final sequence, but it just makes no sense whatsoever. But by that point, she's just like, who gives a shit, I suppose.
And the final one for me, then. So I've already mentioned the similarities to the Blob, but we kind of go a bit more into it. The film has interesting similarities with the Blob. In
Mm.
both films, the first victim is an old man living in a cabin with a dog. A cop named Dave doesn't believe the young people, and a crabby older cop seems to have a grudge against young citizens. A remake of the Blob, 1988, was released the same year as Killer Clowns. So
And just to be clear, for those listening to this
much better
podcast,
film.
one, go and listen to our podcast, The Blob, and then two, go and watch The Blob, because I was a fool. Like, that was up there with In the Mouth of Madness. I actually think I might even like The Blob even more than In the Mouth of
I
Madness.
love that. I prefer the Blob. Yeah, the
And
Blob.
I really like In the Mouth of Madness, but The Blob was one of those, like, there's like a whole bunch of movies we've done over what 200, 200 to 300 podcasts we've done, and there have been a bunch where basically I've been watching them for the first time, and The Blob really does stand out as one of the best ones. Like one of those where you're just like, dude, why the fuck didn't you watch The Blob? This is insane. I think it was because the poster wasn't up to much. Like it didn't like I remember the VHS cover when I was younger, and it looked more just like a gory whatever horror. It didn't sell the tone. It didn't sell the fact that and I think the reason for it was because of The Fly. So The
Yeah.
Fly had come out a few years before, and that was obviously based on a 50s movie, but it was much darker. It was really an 80s movie. And if you look at The Blob suggests the same thing. It's like, oh, we've taken a movie from the 50s and we've turned it into this like really dark 80s kind of take on it. But the reality is it feels like a 50s movie, but just with like 80s effects. And absolutely wonderful film. I could just do another podcast on The Blob. Anyway, sorry, I made a joke at the top. I was like, oh, how many facts are there for this? Apparently there's fucking loads. How to the Future, this is where we ask a question. Remake, sequel, Let It Die or Leave Well Alone. Stephen Chiodo suggested in 2016 that he hoped to produce 3 additional movies in the Killer Clowns from Outer Space saga. It constantly, whenever you look at it on IMDb, there's always one in pre-production. I think they're probably as close now as they've been for a while. I don't know if it'll ever happen. Personally, I would happily watch a sequel to this film, especially one with a bit more bite. As you mentioned throughout, it's a great idea. And they're the ones I want to see remakes or sequels to. It's ones where you have a great idea, they haven't quite stuck the landing, as is the case with this, but there is a great movie in there that I would love to see. So I'm all for sequels, remakes, whatever you want.
For me, I'd go specifically remake. This is ripe for a remake.
Yeah.
I mean, with the technology that we have now, with we don't usually like green screen on this. It's some more CGI. We more prefer practical, but even practical effects. I think this film, and you don't even have to make it higher budget. It could still be lower budget these days. Would look much better than this. So
100%.
And you don't need. I said you don't need film stars for this film or anything. You don't need any of it.
I think you are right about being a remake. Yeah. Nobody's thinking, God, I wonder what happens to Debbie and Mike. It's like nobody. I wonder if like Dave, really kind of went far in the force. Nobody gives a shit. So I think you are right. We'll have a remake, but as to whether we'll ever see one, who knows? But Steven Schroeder still seems very keen on the idea. Make a change. This is where we ask a question. If you're going to make one change to make this better, I've mentioned a bunch of times, if I had to pick, it's either going to be between more imaginative kills or actual horror. And I would go with genuinely more horror. I could do with this film being a little bit scary. And that's what I'd want from, the potential remake is, you still want the goofy clown stuff, but I want there to be a genuine threat and some like actual scary moments.
Yeah.
This movie just doesn't have enough of them. So that's what I'd add.
For me, it was give the human characters more personality and agency. Definitely Mike and Debbie, but anything really. I mean,
just anyone, please.
It would kind of make the stakes feel higher, wouldn't it? It wouldn't just be we have to save the town, but we have to save the people we actually care about. That's what the Blob did well. You had more of the people you had more of the town fighting against the Blob in the library. You knew about the her dad and all their friends and everything, and you felt more about saving the town, saving the people in the town. In this is like they literally say as well, I think the whole town is in here. So the spaceship is blown up. So the whole town's fucked. So there's
the whole town's fucking dead.
There's only 3 people left and the state police. That's it.
Nobody gives a fuck. And like you say, like a lot of these films, what they end up doing, especially when it comes to small town Americana, is the idea that if we, you think of something like The Faculty. It's like if we don't stop this at the source, it's going to spread. The clowns will end up everywhere, and they're going to take over the whole of the United States and then the world. There's none of that. And like you said, unbelievably, I didn't even consider that. I was so checked out by the end of the movie and being like, wait, they just have pies thrown in their face? Sure, it's that kind of film. But yeah, the whole fucking town was on that goddamn ship. They're all dead. It's a travesty. If you want to know where's the horror in this film, it's after the credits when everybody's suddenly really, they're covered in pie. They dare just for a moment to have a little laugh. And then suddenly Mike just looks at Debbie and goes, my mum and dad. And it's just the realization that their whole families are dead. You know, it's one of those small towns. Nobody moves away. They've got generations of families all living in this little last town. Everybody dead, including the dog. Oh, Pooh Bear. Poor Pooh Bear. He's dead. He is dead, dude.
What in tarnation?
What in tarnation? Video games. There is, unbelievably, a very recent Killer Klowns, the video game, released in 2024 by IllFonic. You may have heard that name before. They specialize in asymmetrical survival horror games. They did Friday the 13th. They did Predator Hunting Grounds. They did Halloween. They did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And they did The Evil Dead. Two things I hate about that. One, they're really popular. And two is I fucking hate asymmetrical multiplayer games. So they're taking all of these IPs that I would love to see turned into awesome video games, and they turn them all into the same video game. And it's one that I don't fucking like, and it drives me crazy. It's like I saw this, they do like Halloween, I think it's coming out next year, and I saw the trailer for Halloween. I was like, awesome, a fucking Halloween game. And then I was like, it's made by IllFonic. It's going to be one of those survival games again, where it's like one person plays as the killer, and the other people play as janky looking fucking, street kids.
Babysitters,
Yeah, and I know they're popular, and I know some people like them. I just cannot get on with them at all.
I get it.
It drives me crazy because I would love a proper Predator video game. I tried Hunting Grounds. It's the same old shit. I just don't enjoy them. If I was going to make one personally, and maybe it's just because I'm playing it at the moment, I would go with Konami and Silent Hill, or more specifically, I guess, Blooper Team, who did the remake for Silent Hill 2. And I just replaced Silent Hill with Crescent Cove and Weird Nightmare Monsters with Alien Killer Clowns. I would keep the esoteric design of the video games, but just change out the kind of melancholy that the series is famous for something a bit more fun and very violent. So, go big budget and just have it kind of that you're cutting around town trying to survive, doing weird ass puzzles, and then every so often you just run into killer clowns you have to deal with.
I mean, the right answer, probably because they've already done it, would be the updated. I know you don't like it too much, but the updated Killer Clown.
I actually played it as well. There was a demo out. I played it, and I still don't like it. It's not the correct answer.
I get it, but I mean, it's got everything that you want from it. It's campy, it's chaotic, it's full of the neon gore. The clowns are faithfully recreated down to their rubbery grins and the oversized mallets, as you said. Mm-hmm. The game kind of does lean into the absurd. You got the candy floss traps, the ice cream truck rescue, the clown classes. Like that game is the right answer, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But a couple of them are still asymmetric games. But like Dead by Daylight, I quite like Dead by Daylight. I think that would be a decent version of it. But I gotta go with your Silent Hill game because I'm a fan of Silent Hill as well. I recently just finished Silent Hill. I moved on to Alan Wake 2 or back to however that works.
Alan Wake 2 is a better game. I love Silent Hill, but going back to one of the things I mentioned that briefly, the esoteric design. There's no escaping it. Like it feels more natural that like where you're finding medallions and stuff in like Resident Evil because they're always a little bit hokey. Whereas like you have this really like thoughtful dialogue and like I said, this kind of sense of melancholy. And you're kind of wandering around town trying to find buttons for a jukebox. I'm like, this is really weird. There is like a cognitive dissonance to it all. I still like that game. But despite like the reviews are amazing, I was just like, this game has aged a little bit. It has, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to the film coming out in January?
No. I would love to. I would love to be. Yeah. Like there were elements of the first film, like with the aesthetic, which they got right. And I know it's the same director. It's just not a very good film, which is the big problem. But. Listen, I live in hope. I would love nothing more than a Silent Hill film to like absolutely nail it. So and I think there's more opportunity for doing a really good Silent Hill film, for instance, than doing say a Resident Evil movie successfully. Although I know the director of Weapons is directing the Resident Evil film, which sounds And I
Yeah.
absolutely loved Barbarian. I thought Weapons was even better. And the idea of, and he said the first thing he said was like, "Oh, we're not doing it based on the characters in the game." I was like, "Thank fuck for that. Thank fuck for that. Just have it in Raccoon City. Just have the tropes, but just turn it into like a wild, buck, like crazy zombie game movie, just with a bit of Resident Evil sprinkled on top. I'm all for it." And basically, if you've seen Weapons, if you haven't seen it, you should totally watch it. He'll almost certainly do something quite clever with it, I can imagine. So I am very much looking forward to that version of Resident Evil, despite what I just said.
I'm looking forward for different reasons. Return to Silent Hill,
Mhm,
only because Christopher Gunn was like he made the original Silent Hill. He said it's not a good film.
mhm,
He said, "You know what? I didn't like when he did Silent Hill Revelation. I can do better, so I'm going to take another bite of that apple." And
mhm,
he's just
mhm.
basically doing it's basically Silent Hill 2 again. The game is James and Mary and Laura and all of them. It's
I'm all
Silent Hill
for
2.
it.
Yeah.
Listen, like I said, Silent Hill, the first movie, it's not like an abomination. Like I said, aesthetically, it looks cool. The soundtrack's great. It's just, it wasn't wonderfully made
Oh,
across the board. It was,
they're not good movies, but I would watch them over a fucking Anderson's Resident Evil.
Oh,
Oh,
100%,
yeah.
100%. But like I said, I feel like, whereas, like you said, the Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil films are a million miles away from being good films. I don't know how you turn those into good films. You're just like, well, you just have to jettison the director and just start from scratch, which is ostensibly what they're doing.
Yeah.
With Silent Hill, you feel like it's closer to being a good film. Like there's a good movie in there. You just need to, twiddle a few buttons. I'm sure that's how movie making works. So yeah, like you said, I have a bit of hope, but I'm kind of assuming. I think I will assume the worst for now and hope that I'm
Oh,
proven wrong.
I mean, you should, mate, because filming finished in February 2024 and it was stuck in the editing until February
Yeah,
2025.
that's not a great sign. I
No.
mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be,
Oh,
this generation's apocalypse now, but I suspect it fucking won't be.
no, no,
Um,
it's all.
Best and worst of IMDb. So this is where we take a random 1 star and 10 star review. Before that, I usually try and guess how many written reviews there are for this film. There can't be that many.
Whatever you're thinking, like I say last week, double it.
Really?
Yeah.
I was
Especially for
thinking
this
pretty
film.
low. See, now when you say whatever you were thinking doubling, you're probably thinking of a higher number than I was already thinking. So I'm going to go with 372.
In hell, 378.
Ooh, that is incredibly close. We got there by because I was initially going to say like 97. So
Yeah.
it's like, no, Rob probably thinks I'm going to say like 160. So, okay. So, yeah, that is fucking close.
Yeah. 10 stars. How many 10 stars?
Ooh, no, that can't be that many. So 370, 36.
85. Whatever you're thinking, double it.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
That's just
Right.
too many 10 star
Yeah.
reviews.
So this was written in July 2022. This
Okay,
is a classic, elite, and very well done addition to the horror genre. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a movie in my DVD collection that I recently rewatched on HBO Max. The story, sorry, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a movie in my DVD collection that I recently rewatched on HBO Max.
Sure,
Wait,
sure.
okay. Uh, the storyline follows a small, ordinary town that one day gets some unique visitors, killer clowns. When some local teenagers encounter the visitors' base, a circus tent, they may be mankind's only chance for survival. This movie is directed by Stephen Chiodo and stars Grant Kramer, Susan Snyder, John Allen Nelson, John Vernon, Christopher Titus, and Royal Dano. Oh, from Ghoulies too, Royal Dano.
No, there we go.
Yeah. This is a classic, elite, and very well done addition to the horror genre in a tougher subject matter that it gets credit for. Killer Clowns from Outer Space and It are
What?
easily the two best clown genre horror movies. The attention to detail and creativity was out of this world. The weapons, outfits, props, storyline, and base were all very clever. The spacecraft was absolutely amazing, and the various types of clowns were creative. The cotton candy premise was smart. The way to kill the clowns was fun, and the final parade was legendary.
Ooh,
Overall,
legendary.
this is an elite addition to the horror genre. That's an absolute must see. I would score this a 10 out of 10 and strongly recommend it.
Well, as he said numerous times, this is elite movie making.
Yeah.
I think he's got a touch carried away, but he's in good company. What was it 84 other people apparently
Yeah.
feel the same? I've got to assume that it's a silly, I don't know, 42 1 star.
Whatever you're thinking, halve it. 20.
Jesus Christ.
So this one was written in December 2006. Again, like last week, somebody really got upset during Christmas watching this, December 28th.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. An absolutely dreadful excuse for comedy. So we've had horror, now we've got comedy.
Mhm.
Lamo. I think this bomb was supposed to be a comedy, but that assumes laughter would be involved. And you know what they say when you assume. Bottom line, not funny, not even mildly amusing. It is, however, stupid, but it isn't a total loss. I mean, after this experience, I now have a new appreciation for the root canal. Honestly, if you're 3 years old and under, I suppose you may find something funny in this thing. But I doubt it, of course. If you're 3 years old, the clowns may be a bit too scary for you. So really, that leaves nobody who should find this bore fest funny. If you're really that bored, paint something and watch the paint dry. You get just as many laughs out of it. Save yourself, just avoid this turkey at all costs. This guy
You just
confused
know
his.
as he was writing it, he was just like he thought he was like, ah, this is killer. Like I'm gonna compare this to a root canal. It's gonna fucking slay. It's like, all right, dude, whatever.
He also spelled root canal wrong.
Of course.
He spelled it as in Route 66, not a roots,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, brilliant.
And he confused his space bar. Sorry, he confused his full stop button for space bar.
Oh,
Because every
brilliant.
space is a period.
Well, yeah,
You know?
and another interesting review. I mean, arguably closer to the truth, but not particularly well written. Which leads us to our own ratings and recommendations. You'd be unsurprised to hear that my review for this is a 2-star review, and as to whether I'd recommend it, I would say no. And I would even say if you have fond memories of this, I'd probably just leave those memories in the past. It's not a fantastic movie for the numerous reasons we've already covered, and it's not one I'll be revisiting anytime soon. So it's a 2 and a no for me.
You're pretty much on the ball there, Squire. To be fair,
Mhm.
it's a two, and yeah, it's not one that I'd recommend. I had more fond memories of the last time I watched this, which is probably 20 to 30 years ago,
Yeah, that
than
feels about right.
watching it again.
Mhm.
So yeah, I couldn't recommend this film. There's other, especially for like Hugtober season. There's
Mhm.
better, that guy said, clown horror genre films out there than
Yeah,
than
well,
this. So
the one that jumps out is obviously it. That would be the obvious. Very specifically, part one, because part two is not actually up to much. Um,
we're talking about the recent ones, yeah, not the Tim Curry
yeah.
from
Not
the
the Tim
90s.
Curry.
Yeah.
The Tim Curry one's pretty decent as well, but yeah, it part one is a very good movie. It part two is not great, sadly,
No.
but it is what it is. But yeah, neither is this movie. This is another 2-star one. So yeah, 2 and a no from me. But if you, like you said, if you were for some reason, if you listen to this, it's like, oh, I fancy giving it a go. Like you said, on the plus side, it's 83 minutes long. It's available on Amazon Prime. It's not egregiously bad or anything. It's just disappointing more than anything else, I think.
Agreed. Yeah,
Agreed.
100% agree
All
with
right,
that.
so that has been 1988's Killer Clown from Outer Space in the final part of our October season of Halloween podcast. Next week is my choice. The year, sir, is 1990.
Oh, 1990. I know exactly what this is. No, I fucking have no idea.
This you might get it from this. The director is Joe Dante.
Rocketeer Joe Dante.
Yeah, same one.
It's not like Volcano or Dante's Peak or something, is it?
No, it's a
No.
movie that you've said in the past you do not enjoy. And I'm not convinced it's a great film, but it's a really interesting one. That's for sure.
Okay. I'm
And
stuck.
we have mentioned its predecessor on this very podcast. It's
It's got a
amazing how often this
predecessor.
happens.
Ah. I need more.
And we've mentioned one of the stars of this film on this podcast, Phoebe Cates.
Oh, fucking hell. Is it Clamp Towers? Is it Gremlins too?
It is indeed Gremlins 2. Like I
Okay.
said, one of the strangest sequels that I can ever remember being made. Is it good? I don't know. Is it a postmodern masterpiece? It fucking might be. All I know is Rob hates it, but it's going to be really interesting. There's
Right.
so many things to talk about with this movie.
So caveat that Rob hated this. Rob also
Yes.
hasn't watched this for a long time.
Yeah, that's fair
Maybe
enough.
maybe adult me might see more into it than I did when like
I think
Gremlins.
maybe like you can imagine, like if you're watching this when you're younger, you've just come off Gremlins, a borderline horror film, and then you watch this, and like you said, like this weird, almost postmodern, futuristic kind of monster comedy. It's like if nothing else, it is a strange fucking sequel.
Oh, I
And if
agree.
you
Like
went in with, I can see why you would have been massively disappointed as a kid watching this.
if you've never watched this film as well, watch this film and then go and watch the Key and Peele sketch about the script doctor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
because it is on point, if I'm honest. But
Wonderfully sums up how strange this film is.
yeah, but I agree. Like I said, maybe I'll find it more unique this time around. I like John Glover in this.
Yeah.
Again, sorry, not in this. I do like John Glover. I like Phoebe Cates. I like the
Mhm.
guy who plays, I don't know, News Dracula.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's exactly right. News Dracula. Yeah.
so I'm up for it. I'm up for revisit. I fucking and a thing that turns me away a lot is the fact that they had to put Hulk Hogan in and he breaks the fourth wall, and it really upsets me. Uh,
I
but I am
totally forgot Hulk Hogan was in this film.
yeah.
And again, that's how strange it is. Hulk Hogan is in this and he breaks the fourth wall, and I forgot about it. There are
Yeah.
so many weird things. So, like you said, right, even if you go back and you hate this, there's so much to talk about. Like
Oh, absolutely.
it's if nothing else, it's a very, very interesting follow-up
How,
to an
how,
undoubted classic original.
how are we not saving this for Hugmas though? Because isn't this a Christmas film as well? Wasn't because the first one was a Christmas. Is this set at Christmas?
I can't remember, if truth be told. I've not, like you, I have not seen this movie in a long time. Well,
Yeah.
needless to say, it's kind of like that kind of Nightmare Before Christmas style, where, like Gremlins as well, you could have it as a Hogtober movie or as a Christmas movie. So we're plonking it in the middle of the two. So it
That's
can
fine.
work as either.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, you're not getting away with it. You're going to have to watch Gremlins
No,
too,
that's
Sammy.
like Gremlins every couple of years. I think the last time I watched it was probably for us, so I think I'm due for a rewatch.
I honestly, I think that would be a couple of years. What was it, earlier this year, or maybe I can't remember now. We did like a revisit season where we basically gone back and revisited some of the podcasts we did at the very start of the Hey Guys podcast, and
yeah.
when the audio quality wasn't quite so good and we hadn't kind of nailed down the format. So we went back and we did like Goonies for obvious reasons and a whole bunch of others. I would say on the next season, like Gremlins would arguably in that conversation for one of those,
Oh
four to be
yeah,
covered.
agreed. And I wonder is a 6-year-old able to watch Gremlins? Do you reckon?
I would
Or
say
am I
much
pushing
more
the
likely to
boat out?
watch Gremlins 2.
Oh yeah.
Gremlins 2,
I
100%.
don't want to
I think
introduce him to Gremlins 2 until I show him the better one, though.
yeah, but Gremlins 1 definitely has at
I
least a
know,
few
but I'm
moments
more
which might
afraid
swing
that
you.
he'll like this one over and he'll never want like this will be his Gremlins growing up then. Oh, my dad showed
Yeah,
me
that's the
Gremlins too.
problem.
What do you mean there's a Gremlins one?
It really is one of those tricky ones because, like you said, you want your son to watch Gremlins before Gremlins 2, or if he's only going to watch one, just watch Gremlins. But at the same time, if your kid's like, well, how old is he? 5, 6?
He's 6.5.
6.5. Gremlins is borderline. I mean, we watch Gremlins probably really young, but I'm not
Yeah.
saying everybody should be watching Gremlins at
But
6.
on the other thing, he is my kid.
He'd
So
probably be okay. Like, I think
yeah.
he'd be okay. I don't. We'll see. We'll see. But
Yeah.
anyway, Gremlins 2 it is for now. Anything else before we wrap this up?
No, mate, I'm good with that. Just like I said, so we finished Hugtober now. We got a couple of films on, then we're going to jump into our Hugmas season. We got a couple of
Indeed.
seasons coming up. So looking forward to that because I'm running out of Christmas film. Like when I think of Christmas films, the Hugtober is fine in regards
Mhm.
to I know what we're looking for with Hugtober. With Hugmas, it's like, well, what are the rules? Does it have to have a Santa in it? Does it have to be Christmas film? Does it have...
No, and
So it's
let's be
yeah,
clear, we've done quite a few now, so we're almost getting to the point of just fucking movies I watch at Christmas. Like,
yeah.
I'd be tempted to be like, let's just do Gremlins again. Like, just honestly, sometimes I'm just like, I'll do a podcast as an excuse to rewatch Gremlins. Like that's good enough for me. But we'll see what happens at Christmas. Anyway, just a reminder: if you come this far, do leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. I hear that it helps with numbers and stuff. I mean, I'm not sure how true that is, but it certainly couldn't harm. Okay, I've been Liam, he's been Rob, and you've been listening to the Hey You Guys podcast. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye now.
Oh, and before I forget, where can folk reach us if they were so inclined to?
Well, you can actually reach us on Hey You Guys 80s at Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. But if you want to send us a mail, do heyyouguys80s@gmail.com. Send us in your recommendations. Send us in your thoughts about any of the episodes. Just literally talk to us. We'll have a one-sided talk with you on the podcast.
Yeah. We're nice folk. Get in touch. But no, cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye now.
Hey, you guys!